What's up, my friends? Welcome to a new episode of the Proud Papi Podcast featuring the Contreras brothers. We're back again. I've allowed Eli to come back and sit on this side of the table. We're going to talk about the importance of failure. Yeah, you heard that right. Why failure is a good thing in fatherhood. Check it out. Well, I'll start with this, is that it's actually great to see you again.
Yeah. And we're wearing similar black tops.
Oh my gosh.
Though I'm not gonna lie, I got this for a VBS like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Have not it is worn out, baby. This is my gym workout.
So dude, I tell Ruthie I'm a dark shirt guy. Like, I have to have and it's funny because every time I go to the store, I'm like, I think I'm gonna change it up this time. But I end up buying either a dark blue shirt or a black shirt. My closet is filled with black stuff. And I'm like, sorry, this is who I am. But all my shirts are getting, I'm wearing them out. So I need to go buy more shirts. So then I made a comment to Ruthie, I think I need to go change up my wardrobe. And she's like, why? You're just going to end up wearing black shirts anyway. I'm like, I guess you're right.
Amazon Basics, baby.
Yeah. Well, I don't shop Amazon. I don't shop clothes on Amazon. I don't know. I feel weird about it. I feel like if I order something, it's just not going to come the way that I want it to fit. I'd rather go to the store, try it on, make sure that I like it.
Well, where do you go? Target?
Old Navy.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Or Target sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Target,
But Old Navy or Target. Zach has tried to put me on some other places, but we don't have those places around here.
Well, Zach is the fashionable, I think, of the
He
boys.
is. He's a lot more in touch with what the kids wear these days.
Yeah.
Which is not necessarily what I'm going for.
Dude, the amount of times that Jenna is like, oh, that would look great on Eli. Where did you get that?
Well, the amount of times I look at Zach, I'm going, man, that would look great on me. Where do you get that? But I'm like, I'm also not going to pay that I'm not going to pay $50 for a t-shirt. I'm sorry. It's a hard sell.
I don't know. If it looks that good on me,
I guess, but I'm like, for that price, I can go to Target and buy 3 t-shirts. You know?
Dude, if I went to Ross, how many t-shirts I'd have gotten at Ross?
That's true. Ross is another good one. So, and when you are a dad and your shirts just end up getting baby drool and all this crummy stuff on it, dude, do you really want to be wearing shirts that cost that much? No, not really.
No, you want to wear your Fairway Fathers.
Fairwayfathers.com. Dude, you were you were here, when we were doing that conversation, it was funny because he really was. He really reached out. One of the first few clips that we had put out since we did the rebrand for the podcast. And, was just hey bro, this is awesome. I love this, and I was like, oh, thanks, man. And I saw the name Fairway Fathers and I'm like, wow, this could actually be a really cool connection here. And I started talking to him and he's like, oh, my name is Eric. Sorry. And I was like, wait, I think I know you. I think we went to the same high school together. I think we have same friends, because he played football. I had got friends that played football too. Right. So we had a lot of, what's the word?
Mutual friends.
Mutual friends. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mutual friends. So, and that we grew up in Murder Park together. So it's not that big. I mean,
Murder Park, baby. RP till I die.
RP till I die. It's tatted on my chest. So we started talking and I'm just like, dude, this would be a really cool guy to bring in. Yeah. At first I'm like, because he's got his business, it's perfect. But then I started talking to him. He started sharing his story and I was like, dude, actually I think I'd like for you to come in. You got a pretty cool perspective. I mean, maybe you wouldn't say it's cool, but a different perspective than what you and I have, in that, he says he doesn't even remember his parents being together. He always grew up, his parents were split, and then he had similar experiences. What were some of the highlights for you out of that conversation?
So I was same year as Eric.
Right.
And so we ran in very different crowds.
Yes.
So
you were more of the...
He was the football team and I was the marching band playing for the football team. So we ran in different circles. I think it's, it's always one of those things that always reminds me to really treasure that human contact and really getting to know someone's story. Because, we obviously all make an impression on someone whenever we see them, kind of thing. But if you were really to take the time to find out more about them and that kind of stuff. And so I've been more intentional about doing that. One funny connection is that I go to Safeway gas around here. It's the cheapest I've found.
Yeah.
And because I go so often, I've connected with one of the the attendants there. And so it just simply started with just say, hey, what's going on kind of thing. But we're going to have him over for dinner sometime next month. And so, yeah. And he like totally cool. Like he has like 3 kids and he's with his girlfriend and stuff. And it was one of those things that like I could have easily just paid at the pump, but like I wanted to make it a thing of like contacting with that. Yeah. But I think what's great about, Eric's story, obviously very open. He knew that he didn't have the, I guess, most traditional of upbringing kind of thing, but unfortunately it is becoming more traditional now, which is kind of the sad part. But just seeing his like passion and drive to want to change things for his kids, because I think for us, like a lot of it's easy. Obviously, you and I, we grew up in a pretty great home. Our parents are still together. They love each other. Great examples. And there are little things that we want to change and we want to push forward, but to have like that extra weight of like, I really want to have my kids to have a much better situation than I did, was just really cool. So yeah.
I think one of the big things that stuck out to me is how he talked about his dad. Like he literally said, my dad is my best friend.
Weird, right?
And I was like, I mean, not that that's like unheard of, but I'm like, dude, I almost was like, man, I hope Abel Mateo say that about me.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Like I was like, dude, like that says a lot about his dad. Like, and that's why I wanted to, I'm glad that he kind of opened up about their relationship and the dynamic and how his dad would handle discipline and how would his dad work through those difficult situations, and so I thought that was really cool. I mean, Eric was like a really cool guy, easy guy to talk to, and enough so that he's trying to get me out on the green.
On the green. So
you might see me swinging a club. Yeah. All my friends at golf are like, dude, we've been telling you for months to come out here.
No, it's never.
And I'm just like, honestly, what it is for me, like, because I love playing sports. I'll play sports, but I'm like, I'm just afraid because I've heard that you'll get hooked. And once you get hooked,
it's expensive.
That's what I'm afraid of. But friends, and I'll make this clear, if you're inviting me and you're saying, hey, I got some clubs you could use, come on out. I got it. Just come on out. I'll come. But as soon as it gets to like, hey, bro, you need to start bringing your own clubs, I'm out.
Wow.
That's it.
What a prima donna.
I'm done.
As long as
done.
everything is paid for, I'm happy.
As long as you drive me around in your cart, like I'm there.
Oh, Benny hungry. Do you have any food for me? Kind of thing.
Do they have any waiters around here? But dude, I thought it was a really cool. So yeah, like if you are a father and you love to golf, check out fairwayfathers.com.
Yeah.
All the designs are by his daughters.
Yeah. The shirts are nice.
The shirts, the quality of them, bro, they're top notch quality.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Like we got a couple.
And I'm not used to that kind of quality.
I'm not
that way.
You're like, is this what the finer things of life feel like? I mean, honestly, they're really great quality. Yeah. I got a black one because I just explained why, because I love black. So I don't know why I got a black one.
Yeah.
The other ones that he had, I'm like, bro, these are killer designs. Like they're more like, and then you could tell that, and then his logo, I think, was written by one of his daughters. So like, it's a really cool, just concept. And then obviously I asked him the question, why is it that dads in golf are like a match made in heaven? Because at least in the last couple of years of my life, like a lot of dads that I know, like they're out in the golf course and they go and they swing and they spend. And he kind of explained it like it's a good opportunity to it's like a de-stressor. It could still be competitive, but it's way easier on the body. And I'm like, oh, that's true. I don't know if I'm ready to accept though that I need to do that yet. I think I'd rather go kill myself on on the basketball court instead. Or the football field.
We'll find out in like 5 years.
Yeah.
We'll see where you're at.
And then 5 years from now, we're going to be like, oh, we shouldn't have done that. But
quick disclaimer, this was not an ad. We were not paid to say it. These are our own. These are our own.
No, I'm telling you that even if you don't golf, like I don't golf, but I wanted a shirt as soon as I felt the material of this shirt.
I'm just thinking like a YouTuber right now. Like this, he did not know we were going to say any of this.
No. He didn't know. But still, like the shirts are amazing quality. If you love golfing, if you love golf shirts, check out fairwayfathers.com. You're going to find your stuff there.
Cool.
End of read. So what I kind of wanted to like talk about is, because here's the reality, right? Like we take on this role as dad, and because we, at least with our dad, like you had this like idea that dad knows what he's doing. Dad knows. Like, yeah, dad knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. And then when you step into this role of being a dad, you're like, oh shoot. There are days I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. And then you're like, wait, did dad really know what he was doing? Or did dad just play that and honestly, there's days it's like, oh yeah, dad was just seemed like, but there was days that he definitely didn't know what he was doing. So, and on those times where you feel like you don't know what you're doing is when you feel like you're failing, you're messing up.
Yeah.
You feel like there's an area that you're missing. There's something you're not doing. And so I kind of want to talk about that is like, as a father, you're going to face failure. Yeah. You're going to face failure, may be a little dramatic, but you're going to face mistakes. You're going to face failing, at things. And so I think looking at what do you do at that moment, right? Like we talk about Eric, right. Like Eric, his relationship with his partner, with his daughter's mother, ended, and he literally had a decision whether to fall to the background, which honestly, sadly, is what a lot of dads do, right? Maybe because they feel like they're not adequate enough to take care, right? But Eric had a decision, and he decided that he was going to be super involved, that he wanted to be in his daughter's lives. But it was a decision, like, in that moment, like, hey, this didn't work out. This wasn't ideal. This is not what I wanted originally, but this is what's going on. Like what we do as dads. The importance of like learning from your mistakes.
Yeah.
Or what do you do with your mistakes? As two guys who believe in Jesus and our faith, and I feel like we have a good understanding of what we do when things aren't working out. But dude, I know for me, even with that, there were moments I'm like, I'm not like doing this right at all. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I'm not, I'm like almost like I'm broken. Like there's something about me that Benny and being a dad just don't go together. And so if I've felt that before, then I know there are dads out there that have felt like I'm just not cut out to be a dad.
Yeah.
So what you do. So, like for you, when you are on those days where like things are just not going right, maybe, you made a mistake. I don't know, whether it's like in your relationship with James or just at home, maybe you overlooked something or you didn't pay enough attention or whatever it is. When you make a mistake and you make a mistake, like how do you kind of handle that? Like what's usually like your go-to? Do you like process it? Do you go and immediately and try to make it right? What's your process as far as like fixing it, making it right?
I'm a very internal person.
Yeah.
I really like to take the time to really process something before I really want to make a decision, which I think in some cases is good. In other cases, it does more challenged. And not to say there's anything wrong with it. It's just the way that I'm just kind of wired in doing that. But I think for mistakes, I know you and I, we've talked about a lot. Like I want to make sure that if a mistake is done on my part, and it was done in front of my son or against my son, like I want to make sure I apologize for that.
Yeah.
I very much want to be in a position of like, like what I did was wrong. I don't want to fall back on the will do what I say, not what I do kind of mentality, right? Like I very much want to model what I want my son to kind of be and do. And so for me, it always kind of begins with that. I think for me too, taking that time to kind of get away for a little bit and kind of do a bit of a reset. I mean, I know I do it with my son. Whenever he like gets emotional, like I want to make sure, okay, let's sit aside, let's breathe, okay, let's talk about it, kind of thing. And so I have to catch myself in doing that too. I've just like taken that moment because I just feel like emotions can just get so high, and on top of that, it's easy for those thoughts to creep in that make it much worse than you think it is, or the anticipation of how someone's going to react to it, kind of thing. So it's good to kind of like, okay, reset, like let me really take in kind of the stakes of things and kind of plot out, and then just being honest. I mean, just being honest with the situation, like there are going to be some things, that we're not going to be able to fix, you know what I mean? Things that are intangible or, that require a level of trust that just isn't there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so you have to kind of slowly make the change. And I think it's trusting in that process too. Like, especially on those things, because there have been like cases where it's like, I feel like I've hurt, like either Jana or James, and it's not going to be as easy to like get that, feeling safe home kind of thing. And so for me, like I have to be okay with that process, like taking them where they're at, not just trying to take forgiveness or grace for granted, but more so like really trying to, okay, I understand what I've done. I understand it's going to take some time, but I need to kind of make those small steps as well. I can't just give up,
Yeah.
Because I feel like far too often for me, it's like, well, I can't change it. So, I'm just going to wait. And that's not really the healthiest thing to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because now you're just, while time does heal all wounds, like it does not set a good precedent for anyone.
Yeah. I think, when I make a mistake, I think it takes me a little bit longer to, well, here's the interesting thing. Like, with when it comes to like my relationship with Ruthie, when I make a mistake, when I say something wrong or I'm being an idiot, whatever, I like will go immediately to try to fix it. But Ruthie is the type of like, I need a minute,
Yeah.
and that's hard for me to accept because I'm like, no, let me make this right now. I want to make this right now, like. But when it comes to like the kids, I almost when I make a mistake, I almost immediately try to justify it because I'm dad.
Your dad, yeah.
And so that's the dynamic between, at least with me in the home, is that like if I make a mistake with the kids, my immediate default is to be like defensive, try to like justify what I did, what I said, how I handled it, because I'm dad, I'm the one in charge, I know what's best. And then like I sit there and I'm starting to think about it. I'm like, nope, that's wrong. Like that's not how you should have handled it. And I'm like, shoot, then I start to think about like the effect of what I did or what I said has on the kids, the way they'll perceive me. Will this push them away or will this bring them closer? Is the question I'll ask. And then it's like, but if I leave it, it's going to push them further away. So then I need to go make it right. But it's just, I think, the moments where you feel like it's like mistake after mistake, bad day after bad day, bad conversation after bad conversation or interaction, you're like, man, I'm just not good at this. I just really don't get this. I'm not made for this. I'm not. But I think like one of the things that making mistakes teaches you is that, like you're not naturally going to be good at this. Like this is going to take a lot of discomfort and a lot of like self-sacrifice for you to get this.
Yeah.
You know? And I think like for me, that was like a hard, like jolt to my system, to my comfort zone, was that, oh, okay, so being a dad means I got to like lay myself, you know, and I mean, I'd been married already, but like I was still learning a lot there too, but it's different with kids. But it's like, oh shoot, yeah, I'm going to have to like lay down a lot of my things for the kids, you know, or lay a lot of my desires or my, you know, like, sure, I would love to come home and just be able to sit on the couch and watch the Warrior game, but some days I'm gonna have to come home and not turn the TV on at all and like get on the floor and spend time with Dalia and play with her, you know, or Mateo wants to wrestle immediately when I walk in the door, and I gotta just put my stuff down and just immediately get into like playful dad mode, like, you know. And so I think that mistakes, I think it's good for you to make mistakes. Yeah. I mean, do we want to? No. But like, I think it's good. I think it teaches you a lot more than when you succeed, when you get things right. Because immediately you think, oh yeah, see, like I got that. Yeah. I'm great. But when you make a mistake, it's different.
Well, you know, I think it's what happens is there's a little bit of a fear that sets in of like those kid core memories. Yeah. You know, like I'm sure you have a couple of them where it's like where you can think back but you have no control over what those core memories are. Yeah. Right. It might be that one time you raised your voice that gets held on to and sets a precedent. It might be you know, that one time that you didn't go and play soccer with them when they wanted to go play soccer. Yeah, yeah. That layers of this layer of just this layer of like he doesn't want to play with me or whatever. Yeah. And so when you're always on edge for that, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like it is difficult, but I think like what's helped me too is like it's a lot of like consistency. Like, yeah, I'm going to have, you know, up days and I'm going to have down days, but what is that average? You know, like what can I consistently do on a day-to-day basis? Yeah. To like, you know, to make more of those memories like tied apart, you know? And so like for me, like right now in James, it's a lot of reading, you know, and like getting to read books with him and, you know, a lot of trains, as you saw when you came in, trains everywhere. And so making time to make sure to be able to do that. And I think those moments, I hope will speak volumes, you know, like I joke around with Jana, but like my main goal is that at James's wedding, that we do a father-son dance, you know, because there's always like the, you know, father-mother and the bride and the, you know, but I want to have such a good relationship and feel so comfortable and him to know like my personality as much as it is that like if I pitched to him a father-son dance that he'd be down.
Okay. You know what I mean? What are you guys dancing to? Like if James right now, today, with all the music that's available today, right? Yeah. And said, Dad, we're going to do a father-son dance at my wedding. You get to choose a song. What song is it?
I mean, if it's right now at his age.
Well, obviously not. I mean,
okay, because I was about to say, I was like, I mean, it's probably gonna be like "The Floor Is Lava" song or something, you know, something like that. I mean, you know, I think just the two of us would be nice. You know, a nice little. But of course, the Will Smith version.
Okay, I was about to ask which version.
No. I would do the Bill Withers version. I don't know what we would dance to, but I would like to know that like. That would be something fun, you know, to kind of do. I mean, obviously, you know me, like that's definitely my personality. I have very little shame when it comes to it, but we. Well,
you like to have fun. You like to bring light. Like I remember like even at home growing up, like when things got serious, like you would always like throw a little line in there to like. And it was always like, no, Eli, not right now. Like, but I mean, that's your, and that's when I talk about Dude, like a lot of Abel's personality, it just reminds me, like that's the type of stuff that Abel does. It's like, bro, this is not the
Cut
time.
the cheese, baby. Cut the cheese right in the middle.
But that's cool, man. Like I think, when you talk about like having a father-son dance, like at our wedding, we didn't have a dance.
Yeah.
Because dad didn't want us to have a dance, And so, but then like at your wedding, you did it.
I did it, yeah.
You gave dad the big middle finger and said, "This is my wedding, dad." I'm just joking.
Well, to be fair, I think we did our first dances, and then when it came to open dance floor, I was already with Jana. She was already sick.
No, yeah. But you did the dance with mom,
Yeah.
and so which I thought was like, I was like, dang it, I should have just.
Nothing's stopping you right now.
No, for sure. I mean, for sure. But like I was telling Ruthie, I was like, we always. That's honestly probably that, and like not having any type of videographer. Yeah. But you have to keep in mind that when Ruthie and I got married, videography at a wedding was like, okay.
Yeah.
Now, like the type of stuff you get, like, dude, that wasn't available back then. No one gave us highlight reel of our wedding. It was literally walking around with the camera, like the home videos that we see, like, just going around all the awkward shots, all the people like, like
That's crazy now because that was like one of Jana's first weddings.
Oh, she took pictures. Yeah,
she seconded with, which I thought was always very weird because it wasn't Joe that was your photographer, right?
No, it was somebody else that we had hired out.
Yeah,
and the pictures that Jana took were better than the lady that we hired.
Yeah.
So we were like, oh, okay. Well, we're just going to use Jana.
Isn't that so funny?
It's very frustrating, actually, because we're like, dang it. If only if we.
Well, hey, we've been gifting you guys family photos.
No, for sure. I mean, everyone always like, oh, your family photos. I'm like, I know, my sister-in-law. Christmas gift every year. We love it.
Yeah.
It's the best time because we're like, new photos. Like, and at the rate that the kids are growing, it's like, I want that, So, but anyways, to what we're talking about.
Well, I'll mention this. So we were kind of talking about, like, do we really know what we're doing? What came to my mind when you first said that, How I Met Your Mother.
Okay.
I watched most all of it. There's this great scene. And so Marshall is driving through this snowstorm and can't see a thing. It's
Marshall is down. Jason Segel's.
Jason Segel. Yeah. So his dad had just passed away.
Yeah.
And he's like, I just wish I was like my dad, like he could always see through the storm.
Oh, and his dad had passed away already by now, right?
Yeah, his dad had passed away.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he he comes in ghost form, I guess, if you will.
Yeah.
And he's driving and he's like, I was never able to see. He said, what? He said, I was never able to see. I just trusted and just kept my eyes moving forward and just kept on driving. But yeah, no, I couldn't see through in the storm. And it was this aha moment for him of like, wow, yeah, like there are just going to be times where you feel like you're driving blindly and like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like this doesn't feel right. But to have the confidence of saying that, like, I'm trying to better myself. I'm taking it a step at a time.
Yeah.
And just keep driving forward with that intention. And so like for me, like that's immediately what came up was this idea of like, yeah, I never saw where I was going, like I couldn't see through the weather.
Yeah.
But I just kept on driving and here's my son. He's looking at his dad and like believes he's Superman.
Yeah.
But he is mortal just like anybody else.
Yeah.
And just put it on. So.
Yeah. I think that's like exactly like the way we view our dads is like, my dad's got it all figured out already. He knows everything, right? Like he knows what he's doing. He has, but yet we don't realize until we become dads. Like, no, there's a lot of this that you're like, just like, okay, this is the situation in front of me. What is the best way to handle this? And then see if it works. You know, I mean, a lot of it is just a man really just trying to use his own experience, wisdom, advice. Like he's trying to remember everything. Okay, what did I read in that book? What did my friend tell me again? What did I see over, and like put it all together and say, okay, I think this is the way I should handle this situation. But with that means that you're going to sometimes not get it right.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's another way to really learn. I mean, obviously you can read, you can study, you can prepare yourself for those moments, but failure is such a great teacher.
I mean, I'll tell you this, man. Like my our pediatrician for James, he had his first a little after James, and I asked him, "How's it going?" He goes, I've been a pediatrician for I think he said like 6 or 7 years. He's like, dude, when it's your own son, you have no idea.
Yeah,
you know, and he was in a daze, like there was sometimes a cough and he wasn't sure,
right?
And he's a pediatrician, right? Like this is what he does.
Yeah. But
when it became his own child, he was like, he just felt kind of like helpless, in a bit sense. So I think that needs to be, it needs to be encouraged to talk about. I think that's something, like we don't want to make, a scene of like, well, I don't want anyone to think like I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, for sure.
Dude, nobody knows what they're doing. Like we're figuring this out a day at a time. Like I remember like one of my first fears for like the first like 3 to 4 months, I was terrified of being with James alone. Absolutely terrified, because I was like, what if I break him? Like what if I and I just felt helpless. And I remember talking to his godfather, and he had a daughter that's a little bit older, and he's like, Eli, it's your son. Why are you freaking out about hanging out with your son? And for me, like, it felt like obviously like the moment, it sounds a bit harsh, but like at the moment I was like, gosh, like he's right. I know what he means. He doesn't mean it like harshly, like, come on, what's wrong with you? But it was more like, Eli, it's your son.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Like, it's okay. Yeah.
It's okay. And I just remember just having a huge sigh of relief, like, okay, all right, well, let's ride this out. Let me be more comfortable with holding him. Let me be more comfortable laying him down. If he cries, just trying to assess the situation and stuff. Yeah. But it took someone else had that realization moment of like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
This, I can do this, kind of thing.
Yeah. I think the big thing that we should take away from this is that it isn't mistakes. Mistakes are not going to be the thing that holds you back. It's the fear of making mistakes that will hold you back.
Yeah.
I think as long as we're there and we're trying in this crazy thing called fatherhood, as long as we're trying to be there for our kids, trying to raise them, trying to support our kids and whatever they're doing, like, we cannot allow the fear of making mistakes to hold us back from being proud puppies, Yeah. Like, there's no way that you could raise your kids in a healthy way with that fear just hanging over you. And understand that when you make mistakes, it's okay. Like, your kids are pretty forgiving. Like, your kids are gonna, I don't think I've ever, like, if you go to your kid and say, I'm so sorry, like, and then maybe if they're mad, maybe let them calm down. But once they're okay, like, hey, I'm sorry. And like, I don't think a kid's going to be like, I'll never forgive you. Like, maybe when they're teenagers, I don't know. That's
we'll find out,
that's a whole nother podcast. We're not ready to talk about that on this one. But I mean, our kids are pretty forgiving. So like they give us grace and give us room to figure it out too. Yeah. So dads, papis, don't let the fear of making mistakes hold you back. Try. And if it doesn't work, try again. And if that doesn't work,
reach out to some other dads.
Yeah. That's the other thing, is that you're not doing it alone.
Yeah.
And yeah, like if you're married, your wife is there, your significant other is there, like, to support you, that's cool. But like, man, like there's nothing like getting with another dad and like just talking about it.
Yeah.
And like, hey, what are you doing? Like, hey, I had this experience. Like, you just never know what you can learn.
Yeah. No, it's so cool, man, because we had that parenting class at the church a couple of weeks ago, and it was so cool. And they're like making a mention of it, like, talk with the person here, because everyone here has the same goal. Yep. They want to raise great kids.
Yeah.
And to have a place where you can be open and not just get judgment, but just like people, yep, I've been there.
So we did a parenting group as well, and like, it was one of those where they play like a short video that had like the lesson, and then in our tables we would discuss it. Mm-hmm. Like, the videos are great, but man, I really took away so much value and so much like comfort and affirmation within the group. Like, because we'd be like, oh, Ruthie and I would share what's going on, what the struggles are, what the kids are doing. And like you say, like some other parent would just look and go like, yeah, that's exactly what we're going through. We're facing that exact same thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, so I'm not the only one.
Yeah. And even if you don't come up with a solution, there's like some relief of like, okay, I am not the only one.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is, it's like, well, okay, well, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm not dumb. I'm not inadequate to do this. I can do this.
Yeah.
This is my mind playing tricks on me. This is me overthinking things, So dads, don't let mistakes hold you back. Don't let the fear of making mistakes hold you back. And be there for your kids. And if you do this, you're going to figure it out. Eventually, you'll just stumble on the right way, right, Eli?
Yeah.
Please affirm me. Tell me I'm doing
course, yeah,
right.
You're doing a great job.
Hey, thank you guys so much for joining us on this week's episode. Let me know in the comments right now. Do you think failure in fatherhood is a good thing or a bad thing? I'd love to know what you think. And if you love content just like this, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We drop new videos every week, and it's all about fatherhood. All right, guys, have a great week. Until next time, peace out.